Husam Najm joins me now from New Jersey. He's a professor of civil and environmental engineering at Rutgers University. Husam, good to see you. All right, so we just heard from the Turkish government that they are going to limit the height of buildings in the earthquake zone to 4 stories. How much of a difference would that make?
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to express my deep sadness and condolences to the people of Turkey and Syria and to the families who lost loved ones in this terrible tragedy. Uh, I think this makes a big difference because you can reduce the weight of the building, and that's very important. The other thing is that the height of the building is also very important. So I think these two factors will really help minimize the potential for collapse or significant damage.
And what is the latest thinking and the latest in materials that helps us keep buildings from falling down?
Well, there's development in the concrete material itself. Uh, Concrete is being used now, adding fibers to it, which makes it more ductile. And ductility is really important for seismic design. It actually keeps the structure to move without really collapse, so it can absorb a lot of energy. So there are new materials that use additional ductility, so that's very important. And also the steel itself, trying to find also ductile steel that has more ductility. So that's a very important factor as well.
For some of the newest methods that are available, how much additional cost does that add to a building that is then passed on to people who buy or rent in those buildings?
It can definitely increase the cost, but I think it could be. I mean, it's worth it. I mean, uh, doing seismic design can require these additional steps that are not typical for ordinary design. So it's going to be more expensive, but it's really important. It's worth it. It's people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. But how much more expensive would you say it is? I mean, does it cost significantly more to use some of these new types of
Um,
materials?
I would say the materials themselves and also the detailing. That's another factor that adds to the cost. I mean, I would say probably not more than maybe 15%, maybe at maximum 20% probably. So, but it can be done, and I think Turkey has experience with earthquake resistant design. So I think that usually brings the cost down when you have skilled people to do that.
Got it. All right. And, we often wonder when you feel an earthquake happening, which we do in this part of the world from time to time, what should people be thinking about doing? Is there a generality of a safest place inside of, say, an apartment building? Should you run to the bathroom, as we're often told in the United States, when a hurricane or a tornado is coming?
Well, usually there are like guidelines on that. I'm sure they exist in Turkey. Actually, people usually should go under like a desk or a place that can protect them from falling debris from above, and usually like close to the corner, but under a desk or under something that protects them from falling stuff. I think running outside sometimes can be dangerous right away. So I think going under something to protect them from falling things, I think that's probably the safest thing to do
Got it. And Husam,
until they receive.
oh, sorry. When you look at these buildings, how many have collapsed in this area? And you see the pancaking of many of them. As an engineer, do you look at that and say that should not have happened? Or once you get an earthquake, 2 earthquakes in a row of these magnitudes, is that highly possible in virtually any building you're going to build?
Well, I mean, that's definitely a very unusual event, to have two major earthquakes within a short time. Uh, some buildings might not survive that. Um, like buildings, designed usually to resist those uh, big earthquakes, if they are designed properly. And um, I mean, sometimes um, it could happen. I mean, you see some of the problems, some of the buildings, if they are designed before, the most recent code requirements in the Turkish code, uh, these, unfortunately, if they are not retrofitted, they probably will collapse under a big earthquake. The new designs, they should be fine. I mean, the Turkish earthquake is one of the best, and it's up to date, and that's something we do all the time. You know, seismic engineers, we always update our codes, our standards every time there's a new earthquake, and we learn from it. That happens all the time.
All right, Husam Najm, really good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.